Another article came from a rather interesting place for me. It is, as many of you known from my other channel, oftentimes some of the commentary I tend to want to look at as well as deconstruct are from one of two sources, Kotaku or Destructoid. Destructoid being one of the ones I tend to prefer most because I tend to feel they're a little bit more fair and balanced most of the time and are willing to admit when they've made mistakes, whereas Kotaku seems to chug along as if everything they do is gold and they are above criticism, which I dislike. But sometimes their guest commentators have a point. Case in point, today's video. It's from an article entitled "All my life I've been told I was special. It was a lie." And I was reading through the article and I did see where this person did tend to have a point. You know, this kind of comes from that place that I hate so much, the everybody wins place that tried to take hold in America and unfortunately, well, fortunately I should say, failed because it doesn't work. You can't be like, oh, we've changed the marks on our papers to lavender because red causes too much stress. Ugh, are you kidding me? Or the, oh, yeah, you may have lost, but here's a trophy anyways. You're awesome. Now, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against building self-esteem, but I have everything against building false self-esteem that is based off of nothing, that will be kicked out from under these people when, as this article tends to illustrate, the real world creeps in. Because we can't be there every step of our child's adult life, constantly handing them trophies and saying, yay! Oh, you struck out with that woman. Well, here's a trophy. You know, it doesn't work that way. And then we wonder where our competitive edge has gone. Although competition in general impacts our lives on many, many fronts. From the fact that it's actually expressing itself more than violence to be a cause of aggression amongst players of video games, especially online. The competition tends to be the actual Achilles heel, not the violent content itself. I'll try to find that article or two at some point and post it down in the underbar again. I don't have it on me at this time, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's part of the newer model for violence, aggression, and media that has come in the more recent times. The times that have stepped away from the awfulness that is Bandura and his Bobo doll experiment that has poisoned this field of research for a good long time until recent, thank goodness. But there's that. But then you've got places like Denmark. You've got places like I believe the Netherlands and Sweden and other places where they stopped. They have taken competition out of at least schooling, out of at least their testing. In fact, they don't start school until I think age 7. They let their kids have a childhood free from any sort of major stresses of like kindergarten or things of this nature. They start their kids a little later when their kids are usually going to be ready to start school. And they don't emphasize in their school structure competition. And they're kicking our ass in education. They're kicking our ass in math. They are mopping the floor with our super competitive structure of schooling. But there's a book out there that also talks about this, how broken these super competitive people get because even if they are the most skilled person in the world, they will fail. And this, to a super competitive, always have succeeded mind, can be mind blowing and reality shattering. Book is Disadvantages of an Elite Education by a William Dreiser God, I hate these names. You guys know me with names. I know I'm getting this wrong, but I'm going to try it anyways. Der Sewitches. Anyways, the link is down to this article, as well as to the person. Quote, students from elite schools expect success, and they expect it now. They have, by definition, never experienced anything else, and their sense of self has been built around their ability to succeed. The idea of not being successful terrifies them, disorients them, defeats them. They've been driven their whole lives by fear of failure. And I absolutely agree with that assertion. Why? Because I'm no scientist, but I've had to deal with these exact people. Some of them then go out and turn life into a competition. Oh, suddenly my dick has to be bigger than John's, and I have to let him know about that because I have to be winning, because I'm a winner and John is a loser. Oh, I have to, make this much, or I have to do this much, and then I have to make a big deal about it because, again, I have to demonstrate that I am a winner in everything that I do because everything I do, I win at. Winning, and so on and so forth. And some of them are some of the biggest a-holes. Again, I'm trying to run my clean channel. Are some of the biggest a-holes I've ever had to deal with, and there is no talking to these people. They will formulate their own reality to the point to where they always win, even when they're maybe not so winning. And their personality sure as heck isn't winning, but I digress. But I've also met those people. I've seen people become unraveled. Oh, I got a B instead of an A, or I got an A instead of an A plus. I literally have seen people in my high school who fell apart. Some of them didn't make it to the end of the year, or at least not with their good grades, because they were afraid of what their parents would say, what their parents would think about an A instead of an A plus. And in some cases, they were right. Their parents didn't tolerate failure of that caliber and sometimes would go overboard. Look, I get it. You want to give your kids the best tools for success, especially in a world filled with people who are not succeeding, or at least that's what the numbers when we're looking at poverty versus, self-sufficient individuals tends to be. Never mind the outside forces that are currently working against your child, no matter how hard they work, their children's children will never be rich, will never be successful. That's not to say that you can't do something magnificent now and become a millionaire instantly, but those opportunities are becoming fewer and far between. But yeah, I've seen people destroy themselves over the fact that dad never said he loved me, and dad constantly saying, well, you should know that I love you, or you should earn my love, because you're my child, you're my property, you should be shining my boots with your tongue, because I'm so much better than you, but I want to make you into something that's better than me, and then I want to rile against you because I'm jealous of your success, a success I wish I could have had, but yet that success comes at a price. We have broken people, and they're getting into relationships, and they're breaking people because of everything that they've been taught is incompatible with the real world. And that's not even getting into where genetics can actually be the better way to be looking at your child than, say, the drive that you try to shoehorn into this person, whether they're built for that psychologically or not. Psychopaths, even narcissistics, can be extremely highly effective business people, and as stated in other videos for clarification, not all psychopaths are actual killers. Psychopathics is a spectrum. There are people who are high psychopaths who do skin people. There are people who are not high psychopaths who don't skin people but are able to make better business decisions and able to make better calculations than your average empathetic person. Not that I'm saying empathy is a bad thing, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. The point is, the drive for perfection can often ruin people. It can destroy people to where one mistake and suddenly these people become unraveled. Suddenly everything they've ever done has been meaningless and their life stops dead. Whereas those of us who've been given a realistic idea of how things work, we may not always succeed, but we're able to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps and sometimes outperform your little prodigy that you have out there, because we are equipped to deal with reality. We weren't always patted on the head and told how special we were. We weren't always made to seem like we could do no wrong. And we're better equipped to have a more critical look, a more objective look at times, though we are still subject to biases and other usual humanistic things, but at times we're better equipped to have a more objective view of reality and be able to prompt solutions that are more reality based. But again, we're all human. Even us who are reality based, we make mistakes. In fact, my past channel has had videos where I have made mistakes, and I usually correct those mistakes. And somebody may find something in here that they don't quite agree with, and they have their evidence that's very solid. This shows, yes, indeed, I did make a bit of a fool of myself, in which case correction videos on this channel are not going to be unheard of. Anyways, folks, I hope you guys are having a great day, and thank you for watching.